On this day in 1989, a group of military officers overthrew the government of Alfredo Stroessner in Paraguay. On this day in 1989, a group of military officers led a coup and overthrew the government of Alfredo Stroessner, the dictator of Paraguay who was ruling the country since 1954 in a military coup d'etat. In April 1987, Stroessner lifted the state of siege as part of the run-up to elections the following spring. Stroessner objected to President Federico Chávez's plans to arm the national police and threw him out of office in a coup d'etat on May 4, 1954. After a brief interim presidency by Tomás Romero, Stroessner was the only candidate in a special election on July 11, 1954 to complete Chávez's term. He was re-elected 7 times in 1958, 1963, 1968, 1973, 1978, 1983, and 1988. He appeared alone on the ballot in 1958. In his other elections, he won by implausibly high margins. Only once in 1968 did an opposition candidate get more than 20% of the vote. He served for 35 years, with only Fidel Castro having a longer tenure among 20th century Latin American leaders. However, several draconian security laws remained in effect. As had been the case for over 3 decades, opposition leaders continued to be arbitrarily arrested, and opposition meetings and demonstrations were broken up, often brutally. Stroessner was nominated by the Colorados once again, and was the only candidate who was allowed to campaign completely unmolested. Under these circumstances, the February 1988 election was no different from past elections, with Stroessner officially registering 89% of the vote, a margin that his rivals contended could only have been obtained through massive fraud. On February 3, 1989, only 6 months after being sworn in for what would have been his 8th full term, Stroessner was ousted in a bloody coup d'etat led by General Andrés Rodríguez, his closest confidant for over 3 decades. One reason for the coup was that the generals feared one of Stroessner's offspring would succeed him. Of the 2, Alfredo, aka Freddy, was a cocaine addict, and Gustavo, a pilot, was loathed for being homosexual. After the coup, Stroessner fled to Brazil, where he lived in exile for the next 17.5 years. Stroessner died on August 16, 2006 in Brasilia at the age of 93. The immediate cause of death was a stroke. He had been suffering from pneumonia after undergoing a hernia operation. The Paraguayan government preemptively dismissed any suggestions for honoring the late president within Paraguay. He tried to return to Paraguay before his death,